I hope to achieve a beautiful system that can be duplicated after I'm long gone to support this great organization.
Here I hope to accomplish, even if I can just help like FU moms, just get exactly what they need and make sure they have someone advocate for them throughout their services with either a hospital or different services that they need.
I always saw the need for more support and assistance and advocacy for mothers.
I'm Shada Hibbett, the community service manager, and I hope to achieve to bridge the gap between organization and the people that they serve.
Right? You just use it over and over and over. It's like falling apart.
Our next case is 25 Cat 30015, which is a Category 3 development plan. Project name is Campground Road Data Center, 6001 Campground Road. And our case manager is Tyler. Tyler, I'll turn over to you.
Tyler Business, Office of Planning at 444 South 5th Street, 02. Here's about Tyler Business, Office of Planning at 444 South 5th Street, 02. Here's about 25 Cat 315. The request is for a Category 3 development plan. Case summary is it's dual zones, so part of the property is in M3 and the other part is in EZ1. It's fully in suburban workplace. It's approximately 153 acres. The proposed total gross building area for the development is going to be 1,500,000 square feet. The development does include 7 two-story data center buildings and a 32,500 square foot office building. The development also includes a dedicated substation and switching station. Here is a map of the zoning. As you can see, part of it is in M3, the rest is EZ1. This is an aerial of the location also. This is the subject property, looking from the northeast and looking south. You can see the inverted triangle that is the property in question where the data center will be located, including the tree canopy in the background. This is the adjacent properties across Campground Road. And then this is the other adjacent properties to the east. This is from south looking north. This is the southern properties that are above. This is what the site plan looks like. As you see, the 7 data centers. The office building is located on the right side. And the substation is located adjacent to that, and to the south is the switch station. This is the elevation of what the data center would look like. Here's the elevation of the admin building and the office building. So staff finds the proposal meets the requirements of the current LDC. Transportation Planning and MSD have clearly approved this proposal, and it will be constructed in accordance with applicable building codes to ensure safety and structural integrity. The required actions again is to approve or deny the Category 3 development plan. Any questions?
Any questions, Commissioners? Yes, sir.
Okay, Tyler, I'm trying to refresh my memory about this case. This case came before this commission, I don't know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
It came in June of last year.
June last year, okay. All right, there you go. And so was that a rezoning case?
Negative. So there was no rezonings. It's already been industrial. It's been industrial since the 40s. It's the historical maps I could find for zoning. It was just a category 3 back then as well. There were no waivers, no variances.
And at that time, when it came to the commission, was it represented that it was going to be a data center?
Correct. There was going to be, again, 7 buildings. From what I understand, the applicant could speak more to this. Back then, they didn't have a client, if you will, of what they were going to put into the data center. And I guess now they have more fine-tuned that proposal and came with a better plan.
So I'm sorry to be stealing the opinion here, but so was it multiple buildings, and do you remember what the square footage was?
Correct. It was around 2 million.
2 million
Square feet.
when we approved it back a year ago, year and a half.
I
Okay.
believe that. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's also 7 buildings. I will say by scale-wise, these buildings have shrunk a little bit, not significantly, but they have shrunk compared to that previous plan that was approved.
And nothing has been constructed at this point on this property, is that right?
To my knowledge, no, but I do know there was a clearing and grading plan that was approved.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, commissioners? Joe, you have anything to add? I thought I just seen a note pop up. Never mind. Okay.
But since you gave me the floor, we do have a lot of people online. Anybody online that would like to speak today, please send a chat message with your first and last name, and if you would like to speak today in support or opposition.
And also with that, if you are in the gallery and you want to speak and you have not already signed up, please sign up, because that's the only way that you can speak. Okay, we have no more questions, so we appreciate it, Tyler. With that, I will go to the applicant, Mr. Agburner. Name, address, and zip code?
Sure. It's Cliff Ashburner with Greens One Shoal, 101 South Fifth Street, Louisville 40202. Here today on behalf of the developer. It's a partnership between, sorry.
Do you swear affirm that the testimony that you're going to give to this commission is the truth?
I do. Thank you. As I said, I'm here today on behalf of the developer. It's a partnership between the co-companies and Powerhouse Data Centers. Commissioner Mims, you are correct. This proposal was brought before the Development Review Committee last summer. That plan was a plan that included 7 data center buildings. The change, and I'll go through this in more detail, is that the buildings have gotten a little bit smaller, a little bit more refined. The site layout has been refined as well. One thing I want to say just before we get too far into this, and I don't want to take up a lot of time on this, is just a reminder that this is not a rezoning. A Category 3 review is really an opportunity for the Planning Commission to determine whether a plan does or does not comply with the Land Development Code. The Land Development Code has use listings. It also has form district listings. This property is on the EZ1 and M3. Those are both heavy industrial zones. And it has certain dimensional requirements to deal with the massing and location of buildings. The proposal that we're going to describe for you today complies completely with the Land Development Code. We have provided plans to that effect that you already have in the record, and we'll provide a little bit more information on that. But I want to start with that. The size, the mass, the location of buildings all comply completely with the Land Development Code. Land Development Code's use listing currently for this U.S. telecommunications hotel, which is an older designation. So with that, I'll go ahead and get started. If you'll advance the slide. So this is the subject property. The change that we may notice here from last June, if you recall, there were 7 lots along Campground Road that had residences in them. Over the intervening time, those 7 homes have been acquired, and now They are part of the development site. Those are the small lots that are kind of in the center there. As I said, the zoning on the property is EZ1 and M3. So EZ1, for everybody's benefit, is a combination zoning district that includes both M3 and C2, which means it includes the most intense commercial uses that we allow and the most intense industrial uses that we allow. Some examples of things that are allowed in EZ1 and M3 would include things like lumber yards, railroad freight terminals, rubber manufacturing, aluminum extrusion, concrete plants, foundries, things that are much, much more intense than the use that we're talking about today. If you go ahead and advance the slide. So these are just some surface photos that were actually taken last year around the site. You can see Campground Road. The site is on the right. If you go ahead and advance. This is looking south on Campground, and this would be kind of at the edge of the site on the left. Bramer's Lane, that's a mechanic shop there on the right. This is looking into the property. You go to advance the slide. And then this is at the other end of the site along the campground. You go to the next slide. So in addition to the plan that you all saw last summer, this site had previously been approved for 4 warehouse buildings. And those warehouse buildings they would operate in very much the same way. You've seen lots of other logistics uses in the area. So there's a high degree of truck traffic. There's a lot of back and forth traffic on Campground Road. We believe the proposed use compares favorably to those and is certainly well within any limits that the code would require. We go to the next slide, please. So this was a 2025 site plan that was approved. You can see, again, here we've got 7 data center buildings, the switch yard and the substation. The big difference between this plan and what you're going to see is the location of the substation. And then, as I said, adding that property, those residences between the subject property and Campground Road. One thing you'll also note, we show some tree massing here. One thing I just want to make sure is on the record is, so we are preserving about 19 acres of existing tree canopy. And as you'll see on the slide in just a moment, we're planting nearly 1,000 trees on the subject property in order to meet the land development code's requirement for tree canopy on an industrial site. You go to the next slide. So this is the 2026 plan. In context, you can see, we're kind of we're in a rubber town area of Louisville. Planned north is west. Actual cardinal north is kind of to the right of the stream there. So you've got all of the more heavy industrial chemical manufacturing, everything that's happening in Rubber Town. Obviously, you've got the Marathon tank farm just off the subject property. You can see the warehousing that's just to the south of the subject property as well. As I mentioned before, the substation moved from kind of the middle of the site to the north end of the site. The pads for the substation and for the switchyard are under construction right now. Those were approved. A modification to the previous Category 3 plan was approved because it was moving elements within the plan that did not affect code compliance, and permitting was granted to build those pads. If you go to the next slide, please. So this is the proposed plan. Again, a couple of things that I'll just point out here. We do have the 7 data center buildings. The buildings are positioned such that the buildings along Campground Road they'll appear very much like warehouse buildings. They do have the required architectural elements. We provided a letter from our architect, Gensler, to Tyler, that went through all of the code elements to make sure that they had the required amount of articulation and breaking up in facades. Every data center has redundant power systems, and so here we're talking about generators. The generators are located between the buildings, so behind the buildings that face campground. Again, Our land development code does state that loading areas and equipment, things like that, should not be facing the public street, and that was one of the design decisions that was made here. On the right-hand side of the slide, the larger building there is an office, kind of an administrative building that will be on the property. It will only be used for this use. And then there's a small security building as well. As you all know, data centers represent a very significant investment. They're kind of critical infrastructure. And so this is going to be a secure site with secure entry and exit. If you go to the next slide, please. So, getting to the use itself, you can see this is a snip out of the M1 zoning category. You can see at the bottom there the highlighted term telecommunications hotels. That is how our code currently describes data centers. I know that there are regulations that are being considered, but I don't believe they've even been voted on by this commission, being drafted, I should say. That would further refine that definition, but as it stands today, telecommunications hotels is how our code describes data centers. They are allowed by right in the M1 zoning district. And again, just sort of for the education of everyone here, M1 is sort of our light industrial district. So M1, then you have M2 is slightly more intense, M3 is more intense than that, and of course EZ1 includes M3 uses. So as you can see lined out there, through the code and how the code kind of functions, a use permitted in M1 is also permitted in M3 and EZ1. Can you go to the next slide, please? So, as I said before, our land development code contains both zoning districts and form districts. This site is in the suburban workplace form district. There is no minimum lot size. The setbacks, you can see there, the front yard is 25 feet. I'll go through some more detail about how we comply here in just a moment. There is no side yard requirement. There is no rear yard requirement. And where it is adjacent to residential, there's a 50-foot yard requirement. That is property line to property line, not with the intervention of the road. Building height, 50 feet, but you can add a story by using the 5.5.6 height incentive, which we are using in this case. If you go to the next slide, please. So this is the north end of the plan, just to give you a little bit more detail. So on the north end, you can see we have an entryway off of campground, kind of, I'll go right to left on this plan, that really serves the utility infrastructure. So this is going to be outside of a secure area. That comes in, you can see as well all of the planting that will occur there. You have the substation closest to campground. The next element there is the security gate, so allowing people to come in, vehicles to come in. There's a security building there, some parking that's associated with it and with the administration building, which again is a single-story office building. And then you get over to the actual data center buildings as well. Each of the data center buildings, being an industrial building, does have outdoor amenity requirements that are in the code. Those are reflected on the plan as well. Can we go to the next slide, please? And this is kind of the southern end of the plan. I apologize. The main access point will be directly across the street from Brainers Lane. And again, you can see the buildings lining up along Campground Road. Excuse me. Lining up along Campground Road with the utility and kind of loading and generator areas located between the buildings in order to shield them from the street. Can you go to the next slide, please? So I just wanted to point this out. These are setbacks to adjacent properties. So from building 1 on the left there, you see it's about 156 feet. The requirement, as you may recall from the slide a few slides ago, is 25 feet. You can see building 2, 131 feet. Again, the requirement is 25 feet. The landscape buffer area that is required between the vehicular use area, which is the parking and access area in front of the buildings, and the right-of-way is 35 feet. And you can see that marked at 39 at its narrowest point. So most everywhere else we are We exceed the requirement by more than that, but even at our narrowest point, we exceed the requirement. You go to the next slide, please. And then this is building 3, closest to the proposed office, the administration building. Again, you can see we have 60-foot buffer area, 152 feet on the right. It goes down to 54 on the left. Again, greatly exceed the land development code's requirement. You go to the next slide, please. These are the proposed building elevations. As I mentioned before, we submitted to Tyler, to the department, a memo from Gensler outlining the compliance. How that works generally is large industrial buildings are not supposed to present flat faces to public rights of way. So there's supposed to be articulation that can be done with depth, change of building materials, and that is what is reflected on these plans. You go to the next slide. This is the proposed office building. It is a single story. The elevation that would be seen from Campground Road, to the extent that it can be seen, would be the bottom elevation here. So there's a significant amount of glass as it faces Campground. If you go to the next slide. The security building is not as ornate. It is a security building after all. It's pretty purpose-built. If you go to the next slide. We did look at traffic. I know that traffic has come up. Traffic always comes up in any zoning case. This was the traffic study for the warehouse proposal. You can see AM peak hour trips are 176, PM peak hour trips at 179. If you go to the last slide. Current traffic study, the data center's a little bit different. Obviously, the square footage has dropped a little bit between this proposal, which was last June, and now. In neither case were road improvements requested or required. So, as I said, Category 3 review is a review against the Land Development Code. Do we comply or not? We've shown you through this presentation and through written evidence that's in the record that the use is a permitted use, that the buildings are the correct size, location, and design in order to meet the requirements of the code. And that is the question that's being put to you today. So I'm happy to take any questions. Derek Triplett with Land Design and Development is here if you have specific questions about the plan.
Any questions, Commissioners?
Cliff, far left-hand side of your drawing, I saw another road. Is that an emergency access road?
That's a second entrance. I don't know if that would be open all the time, but yes, there's a second access point there, yes.
Okay, I mean, somebody had to have a key card or something.
Yes, oh yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I have questions. First of all, we have telecommunication hotels already in this community. Would that be a correct statement?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
so then, but I guess it's really at this point it's a matter of scale. I mean, this is probably venturing into a hyperscale type of data center. In essence, the cloud. It's something we use daily. And so I guess at this point, it's really, we don't have data center in our code. As you indicated, there's known as telecommunication hotels, and I guess that's what we're kind of working on right now in terms of trying to define that. Okay.
Do you mind if I so there are absolutely existing data centers in the community. There are some downtown, not far from here. I have personally seen them several years ago. I was the chair of the U.S. Green Building Council for the state of Kentucky. Had the fortunate opportunity to give a plaque to GE's data center, which is in GE Appliance Park. They have one on campus. It is very similar to this, except it is much smaller. So, you know, it is a...
We can't laugh, we can't clap, we can't do any of that. Thank you.
Similar in the same, in terms of having the same elements, right? There are racks of servers, there's a power source, there's power redundancy, there's cooling. That's what a data center is. This one is just a lot bigger.
Okay, and in terms of what goes on, I mean, the data halls just has a bunch of equipment in there, grinding out all kinds of data that's coming in, whether it be from your phone, computers,
Yes.
whatever. Okay. Yeah, the things I always, that I kind of continually hear about data centers, and the major objection is they suck up a lot of power and they use a lot of water. So, in this particular case, would you all be reclaiming water that is used for cooling purposes?
So Commissioner, there's kind of two answers to that question. I don't know exactly how the cooling system is going to work. I do know that the technology that's used in the cooling system is not something that is the subject of land development code review. I'm aware that both Louisville Water and MSD have capacity to handle the cooling load for this development, but I don't know, I can't really comment beyond that.
And maybe that's probably good enough, I mean, for our discussion. Okay,
Thank you.
very good, thank you.
So I just wanted to kind of go down the question that Mr. Mims had, and I think you answered. I just want to make sure I'm sure. Most data centers, if not all in our community, are single source, meaning that they supply the client whose site they're on, correct? And this is a colo?
Well, let me say, I want to be careful with this. I know there are some, I would call them open data centers where you can rent space. I don't know, I don't, as I stand here, know exactly how large they are for the clients that they serve, but I know they are advertising themselves as a place. Yes, as a co-location.
And to your knowledge, this is the biggest one in our community
Yes.
today. Okay, thank you.
Well, let me-
Thank you.
I have one follow-up question. So, I mean, the reason you have 7, data halls here is, I mean, the data probably travels pretty quickly, but the closer the data halls are to each other, the better speed you get. And is that kind of why you have a cluster of buildings and you get these bigger, more like hyperscale type of data centers?
Again, I feel like we're getting a little bit off of the code, but I'll try to answer the question, which is efficiency drives almost everything when it comes to communications and data movement. Having a number of data center buildings close to power infrastructure, close to water infrastructure is key in order to improve that efficiency. So that's why these designs are occurring. This is not the only data center in the United States. They are building them in Ohio, and they've built many, many of them in Virginia and lots of markets around us. So you will see more of these kinds of designs where you have that power infrastructure, the water infrastructure, all aligning and people trying to make the most out of that opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
Cliff, I like this plan a lot more than the one that is already approved. The one that was approved was for 2 million square feet,
Yes.
and this one is for 157? Is that what you just said?
About 1.6 million.
Yeah, about 1.6.
So the 2 points that I like a lot about it is taking those houses out and reducing the overall scope of it. Same
Thank
number
you.
of buildings.
Yeah.
I might ask this the last meeting, Cliff, short mind anymore. The building construction, will that be like prefab concrete walls brought in?
I think there will be some concrete
like
poured
the
on site.
warehouses they're doing?
I,
And I didn't even throw this at you, I'm just
yeah.
curious, I mean, I know it's, you can't go through, that's just one construction. Tilt up?
I think portions of it are tilted. The exact construction I couldn't tell you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, ma'am.
And Cliff, I know you covered this, just in a nutshell, the reduction of 400,000 or so square feet is because of?
Well, the reduction is 2 things. The buildings have been redesigned, so they're actually 2 stories now. The prior buildings were a single story So you have a larger footprint. These buildings are 2-story, so they'll be able to have the same amount of servers in them, but they'll be like I said, 2 stories each.
So the servers, the capacity to process the data, store the data is essentially the same.
Yes. I mean, it's the same as I stand here, but I think we all recognize that the technology in this area is rapidly evolving. I would imagine that a year from now, 2 years, 5 years from now, there will be more data going through this center than even the designer showing us.
Any other questions, commissioners? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And you said Derek's here just for questions?
Just here for questions, yeah.
If you don't have a seat, you can sit next to Tyler.
Okay. No, that's all right.
We will now move to our opposition. I'm gonna start with those in the gallery. Keeping in mind you have 3 minutes, then I'll move to the those that are online. We have quite a few, so what I want to do, okay, I'm gonna call 5 and ask that you stand up where you at, and I'll swear you in. All right, I have some redundancy here too as well. So we have Erica Summer, okay? We have William Mays. And William signed up both online and in the gallery, and then Alina Lenzo. You just stand up where you're at, yeah, okay, you signed up both. Amanda Stahl. All right. And then we have Jaslyn Williams. Okay, perfect. All right, raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm that the testimony that you're going to give to this commission is the truth?
Yes.
All right, we're going to start with Erica Summer. Erica, and this goes for everybody. If you can state your full name, address, and zip code for me, then you can just go right into your statement.
Yeah. I'll keep my comments to the commissioners themselves fairly brief. I think that you're very well aware that the vast majority of Blue Buildings do not want a hyperscale data center like this. We've seen the data that you've been given by the Planning and Zoning Department, so we know that you're very aware that over 80% of Blue Buildings do not want any further data centers, certainly no hyperscale data centers. The notion that this scale is simply a trivial question is absurd. We know that, first of all, this data center is going to draw an absurd amount of power. I think roughly about a third of what the entire city or the entire county currently uses. That is absolutely going to impact people's rates. We know that it is. You're lying to yourself if you think otherwise. We also know that these data centers can produce tremendous deleterious effects on people's health in the area. I understand this is zoned industrial. It should not have been zoned industrial. It certainly should not have been zoned in a way that allows for a hyperscale data center. Do you know that the zoning regulations on this type of thing are completely out of date? They're obsolete. They don't make any sense for this kind of project because this kind of project didn't exist even 5-10 years ago. These hyperscale data centers are being introduced mainly for the purpose of speculating on future AI usage. We don't know if that AI usage is going to happen, but they're building these massive data centers so that they can very, very, very rapidly build up their capacity to use these technologies. And we're talking about maybe 5-6 major companies that can actually use these data centers. We're talking about Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, OpenAI, those kinds. I want to speak now to people that are in the room.
You have to address your comments to us.
Okay, well, I will address my comments to you and say that you should know that the people in this room, the people in this community are not going to stand for this data center being built, whether you choose to approve this plan today or not. We will be organizing, we will fight this tooth and nail. Steve, well, you should know that as well. We will not let this data center go through. Just because it is approved does not mean that it need be built. It will not be built. If you have not gotten one of these flyers, please approach me or one of my other organizers. We are going to be fighting this. We will not let data centers colonize Louisville. We will not let Louisville become essentially a tract of land just for these Sam Altmans and the Mark Zuckerbergs and the Elon Musks of the world to process AI so that they can replace all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. William Mays.
Hello, again, my name is and as again, I'm a resident of Metro Council District 1, which is literally about a mile or just a mile from this data site. And I'm here today to again oppose granting conditional use permit for this development for a number of reasons. However, I would like to focus on one significant issue that I believe hasn't received enough attention: fire risk. Although Land Development Code Section 4.2.42, potentially hazardous or nuisance uses, does not specifically reference data centers or telecommunications hotels, I believe it applies, as for example, this data center will be using lithium-ion batteries for emergency backup power, and they have a tendency to overheat and catch fire, releasing toxic chemicals into the environment. Given the size of this facility and the number of batteries they will need to use, it is very possible that they could overheat and catch fire in spite of whatever cooling and fire suppression systems may be in place. Such fires have happened at other data centers in the United States and around the world and in the last decade, so the risk is not minimal. In addition, there is a hazardous chemical warehousing facility and storage facility, Rome Chemical, literally next door to the data center buildings proposed at the southern end of the property. And there is also a Marathon Oil petrochemical facility next door to the LG&E substation proposed at the northern end of the property. These facilities are so close that if a fire were to break out in the data center, it could very easily and quickly spread to these facilities and cause horrific explosions and devastate the entire area for several square miles, despite the best efforts of first responders to contain the fire. There are hundreds of residents living just to the east and south of the data center, including myself, and there are at least 2 schools within a mile and 3 more schools within 2 miles of the data center.
Right.
The casualties resulting from such a fire would be catastrophic. Therefore, I believe this risk on its own cannot be reduced enough through mitigation efforts to justify approving this conditional use permit, and I urge you to deny this permit on that basis. Thank you.
Thank you. Lena Lenza.
So, esteemed commissioners, my name is Alina Lizzo, and I'm a student at the University of Louisville. Now, I could talk all day long about how AI is inherently immoral, environmentally destructive, and awful for education, but I won't. Instead, I will discuss what really makes the world go round: money and jobs. UPS is one of Louisville's most important employers, and UPS's Metro College program is an integral part of U of L's student body. But just recently, UPS cut 48,000 workers and replaced them with AI.
That ain't right.
I can confidently say that Louisville is going to feel this. Additionally, AI is still yet to demonstrate any real profitability. OpenAI, the company that makes ChatGPT, is losing staggering amounts of money. And the company's own figures estimate that it will lose $14 billion this year alone. Similarly, xAI, the company behind Grok, lost $1.46 billion in just 1 quarter of 2025. Despite transformative claims, money is the real talk-in, and when it says it's simple, AI is not profitable, this is going to be a waste. Do you really want to gamble Louisville's reputation on a technology that thus far has done nothing but burn cash? And more than that, do you want your neighbors to look at you and see someone who sold their jobs to a robot? If you allow this data center to be constructed, you are enthusiastically trading away your friends' and neighbors' jobs for a hypothetical profit that is yet to materialize. You must not let this happen. Remember the job losses we have already faced, and think carefully about which side you're on. Are you with the tech giants and the sellouts, or are you with the people of Louisville who need jobs to eat? Let me be clear. All that AI does is burn money and kill jobs. And the last thing we need is a bunch of corporate sellouts giving our jobs away to robots that are designed to replace us. And now look, I know I can't personally stop you, but I can at least warn you. I did my homework. And I know that some of y'all are realtors. And I hate to break it to you, but your job is probably up next to go. Do you know how easy it is for AI to generate a listing and to create ads? Realtor.com or Zillow could create AI realtors tomorrow. And people could list and post their homes directly with the AI on the website. You know your jobs come down to paperwork and charisma. And AI has both of those things. Do you really want to sit here and approve the construction of infrastructure that would let them just take your jobs faster? Don't just protect my job, protect yours. AI can't steal jobs if it doesn't have the hardware to do it. And this data center would be that hardware. Don't let Louisville become a city of job-killing data centers. Pick a side, jobs or AI. Our very own UPS has shown us that we can't have both.
That's time. Next we have Jaslyn Williams.
Jaslyn Williams. I'd like to say to you commissioners that Rubbertown has had enough of industrialization, and that's exactly what this project would be. It may not fall under that classification of N3 yet, but I know it was mentioned that other data centers have been built, and where they have been built, it's been environmental, just a disaster. There's been testimony of water being undrinkable because it's so polluted from the runoff. And that's definitely what would happen to our river. This is not even an average sized data center in comparison to the ones that have been built across the states. And it's not built in sustainable practices. So let's talk numbers. If this data center were constructed, it's projected that there would be an increase in energy uses by 400 megawatts. Additionally, average data centers use 2 million liters of water daily, as much as 6,500 U.S. households. And the runoff would pollute the river. So how would we support that drain on our resources? Furthermore, housing a data center here would make Louisville part of the overall issue of generative AI. AI hurts our education, desensitizes our youth, and victimizes people. Louisville would be perpetuating these issues as well as become a hub for pollution and corruption. AI harms our education by providing an easy way out for students. Increasingly, AI is being used to cheat on tests, formulate entire essays, and this will result in a loss of communicative, critical thinking, and literary abilities state and citywide. AI desensitizes youth also to racism, sexism, and violence. Young people scroll social media to find countless immoral and unintelligible AI videos. Additionally, misinformation will become a growing issue, as no one will know what is a real photo or video. Finally, AI victimizes people. With only a photo, AI such as Musk's Grok can and does undress anyone with no regard for their age or consent. Think of the various implications of being able to fake anyone doing anything anywhere at the touch of a button. And AI was instrumental in the suicide of 16-year-old Adam Rennie. He confided in ChatGPT of his suicidal ideation, and it in turn encouraged him and told him to do it, and he did. AI didn't just do that. Whether by failing to code it properly or passing acts such as the proposed, humans were complicit in these tragedies and injustices. Do you want to be a part of that? AI is utterly unnecessary for our society to function. What if your child or your community faced tragedies such as these? So ask yourself, are the supposed benefits worth the very real cost? Thank you.
Thank you. I am now going to swear in the next five. What's your name again?
Amanda Stahl.
You swore her in.
You swore her in, and she requires the use of a caregiver.
What was your name?
My name is Alina Lenzo.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. That's my fault. There's two of them here. Okay.
May I also say, Amanda requires an accommodation of me helping her a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Right. And anything that I say at this time is on behalf of her. Not
Okay, yeah, perfect. And Amanda's already been sworn in. If we could get the full name, address, and zip code, then the statement can be.
I'm here because I'm a disability justice advocate, and I want to talk about how this will affect people with disabilities, because most people with disabilities make about $1,000 a month that are on SSI, and the data centers that we were talking about will quadruple our electric bills throughout the city, and people that are on fixed incomes can't pay their bills now, let alone when the data center comes up or is built, and that stress to being able to find out how to pay for your needs would be will be worse because of the data center, because it'll just quadruple as more and more people use the data center and as it comes online. So I would say, please don't do this, because it's only going to hurt people with disabilities and everyone here in this room and everyone here in Mobile. And another thing is, when he was talking, most of my disabled counterparts have to follow regulations by the state and follow the rules of the state to get health care. And it sounds like there's a double standard here, because you said in the meeting that he was using
The term telecommunications hotel.
Telecommunications hotel instead of,
Which is not the same as a data center.
yeah, which is not the same as a data center.
This is an overgeneralization that people with disabilities can't have under the law.
It's a double standard, because we have to follow, people with disabilities have to follow the law. Everyone should have to follow the law when it comes to this living in our United States. And the way the law is written now, this company is not following the code, and that is not right. And we shouldn't move forward until we know how this affects people in their lives. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, so I work with people with mental health conditions, and AI is not good for them because people can't tell the difference between who they're connecting with, a human or an AI robot. And we need more human connections, more now than ever. Thank you for your time and thank you for listening.
Okay, next, we will, I'll swear in the next 5. If you could please stand when I call your name. Olivia Cole. Olivia Cole, are you?
She may be. I have an Olivia signed up online, so I'm going to assume that she's not in the chamber, so we'll call her when we get on.
Sounds good. Jeff, last name starts with a C, Cavalante?
Pretty good. That was pretty good, yes.
All right, thank you. Jared Randall. Catherine Vinay.
Fine.
Ebony Cochran. And Nita Sessler Maloney. All right. Y'all, you can raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're going to give to this commission is the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Your first, once again, full name, address, and zip code, and then you can continue with your statement.
The development, the LBC does have regulations for telecommunications hotels, but that's talking about a Southern Bell switchboard
in a house or a building, okay? That's not talking about what data centers have become. And what's not on the slides that you saw is the demand that's put on the city's resources to do this. Yes, there's data centers in Ohio, there's data centers in Virginia, but based on what's happening there, the citizens of Kentucky, all of the state, have turned down data centers and gone against them. It was good news to me that this is up for review. I urge you to deny it so that this can get kicked back to Metro Council to be dealt with and a larger, broader spectrum, 26 Metro Council members representing 26 different districts and more involvement from the public. 6 months ago, Metro Council put forward a resolution for planning and zoning to review the LDC and come up with recommendations for data centers. They put 120 days on that. January 2nd, there was a meeting called. That's the day after New Year's Day, 11:30, and their revisions were put online. Now, they were yanked down in 3 hours. So if you're lucky, you got a copy. If not, down. And that has disappeared, okay? We're way over the 120 days. So again, this needs kicked back to Metro Council so that the planning and zoning can present their revision recommendations, Metro Council can act on it, and the community can have a robust discussion about what the impact of data centers are going to be on the city. So thank you. And again, please deny.
Thank you. Jared Randall. Thank you.
Y'all hear me? Yeah. All right. I'm just asking y'all to do the right thing, and I know it's hard. You're standing up to the money. You're standing up to the lawyers to reject these data centers. Bernie Sanders said in a quote, AI, automation, and robotics could replace nearly 100 million jobs in America in the next decade. AI is good and bad, but it's bad for the working poor. It's bad for the poor of America, Kentucky, and Louisville. I remember Attica Scott one time said she lives. She had family members that live in West Louisville, and how the chemical plants affected their health. This site is being chosen for one reason only. There's poor black people there, poor white people there, poor brown people there. They know that they can't hire lawyers and fight back like the rich neighborhoods. This isn't being built in Lake Forest for a reason. And I just want to say data, AI in general is killing jobs and job opportunities in America. I mean, you see on like podcasts, people are applying for jobs because companies say you have to have so many applicants to get tax breaks, and they get AI'd out. I myself have been AI'd out a couple years ago just for applying for a job through robotics. I'm just asking y'all to do the right thing, stand up to the donors, stand up to the money. I know it's going to be really hard to do that. There's lawyers in this room right now writing our addresses down. The people speaking, I've seen it. They're for this data center, and that's not right. And are they going to retaliate against us? And that's all. And I'm just saying, please, you all, I know it's hard. I know Mary Greenberg wants this. That's why I support Shanika Parrish Wright. I know I just know this is wrong in my heart, and I'm speaking from my heart right now. And I just feel like, just do the right thing, say no to this. You know it's being chosen because poor black people live in this neighborhood.
That's right.
And you know it's being chosen for racism. And you know it's being chosen because poor white people live in that area. If they're not going to build this in Lake Forest, you all know it. Because they're hiring lawyers to push back, just like Odom County did in the rich areas. Please reject this. I know it's hard. Please reject this. Stand with humans. Say no to AI. Unless you want to be controlled by a Terminator or something like the Terminator movie. So, I mean, just thank you. My name's Jared Randall. Hope you got my name and address so that guy right there can write it down and tally it against me. That's what we've been doing.
Ebony Cochran.
Somebody's cell phone?
My name. All right. So I'm speaking in opposition of the data center proposed to be located in Southwest Louisville. Here are a few reasons why. During the last hearing that I attended in this room, there was an employee of a company located adjacent to the proposed site. She said the data center property is butted up against theirs. They have a building that has hazmat materials in it. And I think she also said they were in the top 5 of hazmat rooms in the entire country. She was concerned about a scenario where the diesel generators produce such high decibels that the racking that holds liquid materials vibrates. She was also concerned that if the data center catches on fire and that fire comes into contact with their property, with their building, it would, quote, level everything. So that's just one reason. It should be really the only reason why this should be denied. Secondly, I have a concern about the diesel generators and how long they will actually run and whether or not air monitors will be staged within several areas within the community. Thirdly, if we allow the data center to be built before we have the most protective laws in place, we run the risk of industry setting the standard, and we know that industry will not be most protective of health or safety, and we all know enforcement is always lacking. The poll company representative keeps reiterating that your job is to determine if the plans comply with the land development code. But actually, it doesn't matter if the plans comply with the land development code if that code is so lax that the new developments will cause harm. The existence of the data center will exacerbate the risk and harm that already exists in Rubbertown. Remember her words, everything will be leveled. Additionally, he talks about the footprint of this building being smaller this time with this modification, but he also talks about how the building is being built upward, so another level being built. So in all actuality, they may be actually gaining more space if they're doubling what is already the footprint by going vertical. So that needs to be talked about as well. But I just want you guys to remember, it may level everything. Level everything. There are people who live near this spot who will be impacted by the noise, by the pollution from the generators, by the fires that somebody spoke about earlier. I want you guys to sit and rest with that for the next 10 seconds of my talk. Hazmat room, fire connecting to their property, everything will be leveled, which means people will be killed. Let's sit with that.
Mita Maloney. Leslie Maloney.
Hello, my name is I urge the commission to deny this Category 3 development proposal.
I feel that PO companies and powerhouse data centers are taking advantage of an outdated and vague regulation in Louisville's land development code, which allows telecommunications hotels in M1 districts and C3 commercial districts. And I believe Cliff, the representative for the applicant, also used the word outdated when he discussed telecommunications hotels. Additionally, there was a slide that Cliff showed where he had highlighted the word telecommunication hotel under the M1 section, and telecommunications hotel, that word only appears twice in the land development code. In that section that Cliff showed, and then in the same way in the C3 Central Business District section. I attended some of the Office of Planning meetings to solicit public feedback about potentially updating these regulations so that they can properly consider the size of these hyperscale data centers, which are an unprecedented size, use an unprecedented amount of electricity and water. And then when I asked Office of Planning, is there another document that more clearly defines what a telecommunications hotel is, the size, the energy use, the water use, the air pollution emissions, they essentially told me, what you see in the land development code is all that exists. So that's why I urge you to deny this proposal and even consider possibly putting a moratorium out on any new hyperscale data center development until the land development code can be properly reevaluated to consider the scale of these data centers. I also want to briefly touch on the fact that the selling point is bringing jobs and bringing property taxes, but PO companies themselves only estimates that there will be maybe hundreds of jobs, but if you look at other data centers, oftentimes it's even less than that, hundreds of permanent jobs, excluding the construction. And they're also currently getting sales tax incentives, 50-year, they don't have to pay sales tax for 50 years due to House Bill 775. If it was all about making the most money for Louisville, I don't think that's what it's really about. And then lastly, since I'm running out of time, I just want to touch on the fact that this project also directly impacts residents who already face negative health impacts from rubber town emissions, and this project will add to Louisville's history of racial inequities in land use and development. This project will negatively impact Louisville residents for generations, all for a handful of permanent jobs and property taxes that could be collected from other projects that would also collect sales tax as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'm gonna call our next group, Whitney England.
Sir, I'm Catherine Vining. You swore me in and didn't let me testify yet.
What's your name again?
Catherine Vining. You pronounce it as Vinay, I think.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. You got a lot of papers. Is everyone ready?
State your full name, address, and zip code, and you can keep going.
Hi. I would like to speak specifically about something that Ms. Cochran mentioned that I'd like to build off of. The original plan from June required 7 diesel generators, and this new plan still requires that. I'm very concerned, especially with Cliff mentioning that now it's going to be 2 stories high. The reason I'm concerned about this is because we have no indication that while they say that this will only be backup, possibly supplemental, it is very common for these hyperscale data centers to actually use these generators 24/7. We see this in Memphis, we see this in Mississippi, we've seen this throughout the country. These diesel generators are very concerning to me, considering they are the entire length of every single building. I have a really big issue with that plan. Obviously, these data centers are going to draw a lot of power. LG&E is not decommissioning certain coal plants. They are putting online natural gas plants. And until all of that is online, how do we not know that they're going to be using these diesel generators 24/7? One of the reasons why this is so concerning is this will not just impact Rubbertown or the West End. We are in a valley. We are in the Ohio River Valley. One of the reasons why we have non-attainment levels on ozone right now is because we are in the valley, and so the air is stagnant. And because of our industry and because of our vehicle emissions, this is from our Air Pollution Control District Board.
We finally are getting to levels where they are seeking to go from non-attainment to attainment, but these generators will set us back significantly. We have, Memphis is now considered the asthma capital of the United States, in large part because of hyperscale data center generators. So one of the reasons why I wanted to speak about this is I noticed you said we could speak if there are public health concerns. This is a huge public health concern. This will not only impact those on the west, it will impact everyone on the east side and the south end throughout the entire county. It's very concerning to me that Cliff also said that now they're doing 2 stories, like I mentioned earlier, because that means that there's going to be an even bigger draw to use these generators. If y'all are, I would ask y'all if you are inclined to support this, I would ask you not, but to require more information about these diesel generators, to require some type of assurances to make them reduce the amount of generators that are in use. We already have terrible asthma on the west end. You go to Park Duval and you talk to anyone there, and they say that when they're coming into work, people who work at Park Duval, it becomes more difficult to breathe. We have high levels of asthma. We have high levels of all these other respiratory issues, and our city has been working so hard to deal with our ozone pollution, and this is going to be a huge setback for us. The Microsoft CEO, who is really pushing for these hyperscale data centers, said on a call, I don't want it in my backyard. Unfortunately, with these data centers, with this generator, it becomes all of our backyards because we live in this valley. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I'll call the next group now. Whitney England, Sarah Thieneman, Alexis McFadden, Lou Fox, and Kendra Isham. All right, you can raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony that you're going to give to this commission is the truth? Thank you. Whitney England first. As a reminder, full name, address, and zip code, please.
I really didn't come prepared. I saw this yesterday, and I'll give you 3 minutes to talk about AI, so I'll take advantage of that. AI is an epidemic in this world, okay? Not only do they want to use it for surveillance, that ICE, what they're doing in Gaza, now what they're doing in Iran, okay? That's a problem. We already have a mental health crisis. We've had a mental health crisis for a long time. This is not helping, okay? People are committing murders because their AI chatbot told them to. People are committing suicide because their AI chatbot told them to, okay? This is only going to get worse. We already have political instability in this country. You throw in a giant data center in this city, it's going to ramp up even worse. This is not what Louisville needs. Louisville needs, I don't know, maybe some housing for the homeless, maybe free school breakfast and lunch. We should be talking about these issues and not bringing in a giant data center that will pollute our air. It will use up all our water. Did y'all know that we are now in a global water bankruptcy? This is legit, okay? We are past the point of talking about if global warming is real or not. It's real. What's done is done, and now we are in a global water bankruptcy. We live on the Ohio River. I take pride in the fact that we prioritize clean, fresh water. Do y'all like having clean, fresh water? If we had this data center, you can kiss that goodbye, okay? It's not just, no offense, a cloud. This is Terminator. Like that gentleman said, this is Skynet, okay? Y'all remember that scene where they blew up the kids on the playground? That is what we're talking about. This is an existential crisis. And it starts here. It starts in this room by y'all saying no. This starts by y'all recognizing that the only people that benefit from AI, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, who else? Peter Thiel. Do you know what else all those gentlemen have in common? They were friends with Jeffrey Epstein, okay? This is one of the benefits. The Epstein class only, the 1%. I had to take off work to come here. I did not know the bill was on. I just had to, lose 3 hours of pay because I wanted to come here and make sure y'all know this is not okay. All right, this is my first time being in this building. I don't even know where I am, but I came here to make sure that y'all know this will not fly. And I'll keep coming back, wherever it is. I'll quit my job and make sure this data center does not get built here, okay? This is out of the question. So please take the moral high ground, say no to the money, say no to anything that they try to argue with, because Louisville does not want this, and we will make it clear that we do not want it. Even if it gets approved, like that young lady said, we will come back, so.
Sarah Beeman,
You want me to just stand, please? I can talk.
you have to come to the podium.
My name is I kind of object, first of all, that we have to give our home addresses, which they are writing down, and they get to give their business address.
Shame.
That's
right.
well,
Keep making your statement, please.
Well, I am. That is part of my statement. I'm objecting to that. My second objection is that this is not only people's knowledge of data centers has only started to accumulate. I'm sure you didn't know a year ago, 6 months ago, the impact that these things can have. I worked at a utility. I worked on a trading floor when a megawatt went for $10,000. We do not have the infrastructure for this. And then you're talking about polluting the water and sending it downstream with forever chemicals. Not to mention everything else that has been brought forth to this committee. I don't think you understand what you're voting on or what you have allowed to pass. And I think that you need to stop it, and it needs to go back to the board, and it needs to be reviewed. So the citizens now can have a say, because we're all becoming more and more educated every day. And I really think that you have done this community a disservice. I truly have, and 2 members walked out. This is really serious. And I don't think that you are listening to us. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. I'm gonna take a pause real quick about these addresses. Addresses are collected so we can keep you informed of what happens. If you want to give a P.O. box and you have one, and you want to get your mail there from us, please give us your P.O. box. This is for your use.
So we can abstain then, right?
I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. Ask questions. I will keep going. Stop, I will have you removed. I'm gonna continue going. Alexis McFadden.
My name is Alexis. Sole Water Conservation District is dedicated to conserving Jefferson County's natural resources. The recent addition of hyperscale data centers to Jefferson County and the subsequent review of this type of construction by Metro Council has the Conservation District asking, how can the development of data centers be in pursuit of our mission? The Conservation District recognizes the necessity of some data centers and the reality that there are already smaller data centers operating within Jefferson County. As development shifts to larger and larger sizes of data centers, we all need to be mindful of the potential harm that this type of development can have on our community, land, and natural resources. Water is of particular concern, as the Ohio River is already one of the most polluted waterways in the United States. While water is recycled in data centers as much as possible, sediment buildup from the evaporative cooling processes inside the data center means there's constant system flushing to remove sediment and maintain appropriate water for cooling. When a large sediment load is moved back into waterways, it has the strong potential to negatively impact our water ecology, exacerbating existing pollution issues in the Ohio River, where sediment is one of the top pollutants. The larger the data center, the more resources that are needed to keep it operational, and the larger the sediment load that is discharged. Current regulating bodies are considering regulation changes that would allow data centers to discharge untreated wastewater directly into rivers and streams. Implementing on-site wastewater treatment plants in data centers to remove the sediment and other pollutants is a good first step in ensuring the cleanliness of our waterways.
In order to conserve and protect our waterways, we ask regulators to develop and enforce requirements for conservation-minded sediment disposal that preserves and protects our fragile Ohio River watershed. We are supportive of development that repurposes existing brownfield sites in Jefferson County. Rehabilitating brownfield sites provides an opening to ameliorate the harm done to humans and the environment from the creation of brownfields. Louisville has over 100 brownfield sites whose natural resources have been depleted, and the communities surrounding them, primarily low-income houses and people of color, have been generationally harmed due to their prolonged exposure and to degraded environment, which has caused higher risks of cancer, pregnancy complications, and neurological diseases. While the generational harm cannot be undone, smart redevelopment of brownfield sites has the potential to improve not only environmental health, but also the long-term health outcomes for the communities surrounding brownfield sites. Redevelopment of brownfields is a creative solution that can improve community health while also preserving the rich soils and landscapes of Jefferson County to support our farms, forests, and future generations. Developers should be encouraged to use native grasses and forbs and other nature-based solutions to mitigate the environmental harm and mitigate contaminated soils on existing brownfield sites. Restricting data centers from being developed on development land in Jefferson County helps conserve our endangered natural resources by retaining much-needed tree canopy, preserving undisturbed healthy soils, and protecting our watersheds. Thank you.
Thank you. Lou Fox?
Hello.
Hold on one second.
I will confirm my name and
One second. Just give me 1 second. Let me talk to council.
Through every note, every performance, the arts connect us. The arts connect us through joy and through awe, bridging cultures and generations. From intimate theaters to the grandest stages, the art.
All right. Fox, you've been sworn in. We're going to ask that you give us just your name, and then I'm also ask that you confirm that the address that you've written on the card under oath is your correct address.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you give me your full name again?
My name is Lou Fox.
Okay, you can continue.
All right. Hello. I am also a disabled citizen. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I want to start with the Ohio River watershed toxin pollutants are the highest in the nation, according to a 2002 EPA report. Louisville is the second in the nation for volatile organic compounds and nitrogen oxide emissions, according to U of L Health. And most of this information is from the Environmental Health Project.org. Data centers generate light pollution. Hyperscale facilities require all-night lighting. It disrupts natural circadian rhythm of the body, including melatonin production and the sleep-wake cycles. Light pollution is also disturbing migration patterns and habitat development of many wild animals. The long-term impacts of both noise and light pollution include hearing loss, stress, insomnia, and decreased quality of life. Data centers, especially gas-powered data centers, emit significant pollutants, such as nitrogen oxides, methane, volatile organic compounds, also known as VOCs, and fine particulate matter. The EPA states these pollutants can travel long distances, hundreds of miles, especially with the assistance of wind and water. But most of the pollutants will concentrate in the city. According to a September 2025 study, these pollutants increase rates of respiratory disease and cardiovascular conditions. They elevate cancer risk among nearby communities. The model indicates that U.S. data centers in 2030 could cause approximately 600,000 asthma cases and 1,300 premature deaths, exceeding a third of asthma deaths in the U.S. each year, resulting in public health burden of more than $20 billion. Data centers require water to cool computer servers so they do not become too hot to function. A large data center will use up to 5 million gallons of water daily. Data from ethicalgeo.org says the average megawatt data center consumes about 20 million liters of water a day, equivalent to the water consumption of 6,500 American households. Globally, data centers consume about 560 billion liters of water annually, or the equivalent of 224,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Data centers have typically not paid their fair share in utilities, particularly for electricity consumption, and in those situations, other consumers have had to pay more than they otherwise would. Last year, analysis estimated a 20% rate increase for Pennsylvania households. The U.S. Energy Information Administration shows the average resident. Well, most of what I would like to say is
That's fine. Thank you.
I would like transparency on why this is going forward.
Thank you. Next is Kendra Isham.
Sorry.
Kendra, I'm gonna ask you to state your full name, address, and zip code.
Yeah, my
And as you said, your address is
awesome. So good afternoon, or evening at this point. Many of us are here today because we're angry. We're angry because as LG&E customers, we're already facing repeated rate hikes that we can't afford. And yet we're being asked to welcome some of the most energy-intensive development on the planet right here. Data centers consume enormous amounts of electricity, and when that demand hits the grids, the costs don't disappear. They show up on our LG&E bills. We're angry because we've seen what happens to communities when these data centers move in. Land is quietly assembled. Long-term neighbors feel pressure to sell, and neighborhoods that families have built over generations risk being replaced with these industrial buildings that employ very few people and serve as infrastructure for state surveillance. Then we're left dealing with even higher asthma rates because of this generator pollution, especially here in the Ohio Valley. We're angry because millions of dollars in tax incentives are being offered to the wealthiest developers like Steve Poe, in a state where we're told that there's not enough money for basic needs like SNAP, like TARP, like JCPS.
That ain't right.
And there's another issue we can't ignore. When we see sites like Urban Lane in Middletown that have been marketed for data center development by Susan Cheek, a member of this very commission, it raises a simple question about public trust. Are these decisions made for the community or made to line you and your friends' pockets? But despite all of this, there is still hope. Metro's own data shows that more than 80% of residents said they don't want these here. That's not a divided public. That's a clear message from the people Craig Greenberg appointed you to protect. The people united won't be divided, and you can join us. Listen to the people who are working multiple jobs to keep the lights on. Listen to the hundreds of folks that showed up today in person and online. Listen to the folks that have to find new housing because Cliff's client is tearing theirs down. And listen to the overwhelming majority of people in this county who are demanding that you stop giving away our dollars, our communities, to Steve Poe. Make sure the decisions made in this room serve the people of Jefferson County, not just Steve Poe. Say no to this development. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna now take this last group, which is 7, if you could stand as I call your name, Dakota Lewis. Nick Garner. Amanda Robertson. Chris Robertson. Mila Reporta. Schaller Butler Blight, and Roger Ullman. All right, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm that the testimony that you're going to give is the truth? All right, thank you. Also, as precedent's been set, if you don't want to give your address, just state that the address on the card is correct, but I do need your full name, okay? Dakota Lewis?
Hi, my name is Dakota Lewis, and the address on my card is correct. Is there anything else that you need from me before we start?
You can keep going.
All right. Well, I'm sure it comes to no surprise to y'all that I'm here today in opposition to this plan. I urge you to deny, do not approve this. There's a few different reasons. So the gentleman keeps telling you guys what your job is, and he keeps saying that it only pertains to if they comply with the land development code in the plan. Well, the reason that he's trying to do that and to limit the scope of the legal letter of compliance is because he knows that the outdated label of telecommunication hotels, that protects him. Telecommunication hotel should not and does not encompass major hyperscale data centers. That's what this is. That's the first point. Stated by all those before me, this is outdated. It does not adequately apply to hyperscale data centers. You'll notice that the gentleman, he keeps saying that there's other data centers in Louisville, there's other ones. He keeps leaving out the very convenient hyperscale, because there's not. This does not encompass that. Now, excuse me, it's not just community members who oppose this, though that should be enough for you guys. There are adjacent industries that have voiced explicit concerns regarding the safety of the area. It's been mentioned by a couple different community members that has been brought to their attention. There is a place, a chemical storage facility, and they are very concerned about this. This could be bad for business. The gentleman also mentions that these places will support jobs, create new jobs, support the economy, but that does not happen, okay? From the Department of Energy itself, we know that data centers across the United States take up more than 4% of the total electricity, total, across the whole U.S. And you know how many jobs they create? Less than 0.1%. They create 100 times fewer jobs than any other development proportional to the energy cost. The gentleman may say that the issues regarding electricity and water use, that's not what this is about, it's not what today's about, because it's not within the code or whatever, his scope, but it is about that. Data centers do not cover their entire utility costs. They do not, across the board, they do not cover their entire electricity costs. That falls back to the community. We do that. We have to bear that burden. Rubbertown exists because of redlining. Racist white people did not want industry near them, but they considered the black folks in the West End disposable. Do you guys still consider the black folks in the West End disposable? Do you consider us today disposable? If you approve this, you're proving to everybody that you do. You're proving to everybody that this industry is more important than their literal lives. And are y'all going to give us these people's home addresses? Because my lawyer would love to have that information. Why does he have mine? Absolutely nonsensical. I urge you guys today to change these structures, change this, because this is not adequate. These are not adequate categories for this hyperscale data center. Thank you guys. I urge you to deny this.
Amanda Robertson.
Amanda Robertson, you have my address, it's on the paper.
Continue.
I'm not a public speaker. I hate this. It's gross. What I hate even more are the two council members who thought it was okay to leave their jobs in the middle of all this, as if we don't matter. And, you know, they don't work for us. You all don't work for us, apparently. I'm against having data centers. We're already experiencing high LG bills. I am a cancer survivor and somebody who has really bad asthma. I don't want this in my backyard. If we were talking about putting this in the East End, it wouldn't even be a thing. We wouldn't even be here right now. But since we're talking about Rubbertown and the Big area that we're already accustomed to poisoning the people, it's not a problem. And I know you all are from here, you live here, you have children. Do right by your people. Don't just collect a check. You have a job to do. You actually work for us, I guess, except for these two who, they don't care about their jobs. They're gonna be ready to be up for election. Somebody would love to have these seats since it's unimportant to them. It's absolutely disgusting that we're even here again, when, like we've said, 80% of Louisvillians do not want this. Because we know that it's gonna cost us money. It's gonna cost our kids. In the West End, do you know how high the asthma rate is? We're not worried about those kids. We're not worried about how they come up, their futures. We're just worried about lining our pockets, making sure that we, our family can afford the water we're not going to be able to drink, and your old family can afford the air that we're not going to be able to breathe. If you don't have a problem with these statuses, put it in your backyard. Put it where you live. Put it exactly where, you all stay, where your kids are, where your grandkids are. We wouldn't do that, would we? Because there'd just be too much. I think you all really need to do right by your people. Or as you know, he's getting voted out because we're tired. We're tired of people just collecting checks, not even showing up. Glad we have nameplates, so that's great, because we don't know who's not here, who doesn't care about what everybody else has to say. Thanks.
At this time. Nick Gardner.
My address as written on the card is correct, and my name is Nick Garner. I am a lead software developer in the AI and human-computer interaction department of a company that runs a number of federally funded research and development centers. I've been an employee of them for the last 10 years, and they have operated as a trusted third party to the government for the last 75 plus. I'm here today very grateful to be in this room. Very pleased to be here, and very grateful in particular for having gotten here early enough to hear the questions, the really excellent questions that you all had in the cases that preceded this one. As I listened to you ask those questions, I was struck by a sense that you care very deeply about whether the knowns and unknowns of a project will benefit the community that it sits in. And I felt, as you asked those questions, a kinship with you. I felt that we cared in the same way. And I'm standing here today with some expertise on what AI is and what it isn't, but not standing on that expertise as my own person to ask you to apply to this case the same skepticism and the same critical thinking that you did in the earlier cases. Because the truth of the situation is we do not yet understand the effects that these developments will have on the communities that they serve. And we must be cautious and deliberate and pragmatic and slow because there are lives and health at stake. I want to cite one other credit of mine before I leave the podium, which is that I also have the pleasure to serve as the development director for the Louisville Tool Library. And I mention that because the Louisville Tool Library has a relationship with Louisville's Habitat for Humanity program, a program that for the last 40 years has built hundreds of houses for low-income folks who would otherwise not have access to those houses. And I mention that because 2 of the neighborhoods with dozens of houses that Habitat for Humanity of Louisville has built are within 3 miles of this proposed data center. One of those neighborhoods, this data center is immediately in the backyard, and I would just urge us to consider if our message to those folks who worked so hard to achieve their dream of owning a house Should we tell them that they should achieve that dream only to find themselves in the backyard of someone like this? Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you. Chris Robertson.
Hello, I'm Chris Robertson. My address is on the paper there. How are we doing today, everybody good? I'm feeling kind of down about this. I don't understand. I went to law school, but I don't understand how we don't have a classification for a building, and we're still even talking about what we're going to do with it. That's weird. When it seems like we're way ahead of ourselves, and we're pushing a little too fast on this stuff. You know what I mean? It seems that way to me. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that. And what happens when we actually approve this thing? Yeah, what happens next? There's gonna be another billionaire that gets in here and does another one. Maybe it is in the backyard. You know what I mean? What's gonna stop them? Once they have, we all know legal works. Once they have the right to build this one, they will have precedent to build another one. And they'll do it. Like you said, we're sitting in a spot where it's awesome. We got the energy, we got the water. One of the best waters in the nation is what I hear all the time. I'd hate to throw that all away for some tech giant that doesn't care about this community or live here or have to worry about anything that goes on here. And I've been here 43 years, and this is the wildest, fastest moving endeavor that I've ever seen this community take part in. But it's wild. And yeah, the LG&E bill is too high. Way too high. I unplug all my stuff before I go to sleep. That's how conservative I am on energy. Are they gonna do the same thing? They gonna unplug all their stuff and stop hurting the grid? I don't think so. It's gonna be running 24/7. Those are just the concerns, some of the concerns. I have a lot more than that, but I don't have much time here. And I'd love for you guys to urge to decline this and move it back to where we can actually sit back and talk about this thing in a real form and not just speak it forward like we're in a freaking DeLorean or something. Like, we can't go back either. We can only go forward. So don't make the wrong decision today. Thank you.
Thank you. Mila Ruputella.
The address that I wrote is the correct one. What else do I need to say?
Let's keep going.
Awesome.
Oh, your name, sorry.
Mila Ruputella.
Thank you.
I live in the West End. That's the hood. I'm mixed, Black and Italian, and my whole neighborhood is working poor. Poor people, especially minorities, can attest that we help each other out, multiple generations in one household. My granny, uncle, 4 sisters, mother, and nephew find ways to make space in a 3-bedroom, 1-bath home. That's 8 people all waiting for 1 shower. My mother works 3 jobs, my uncle works 2, me and my sisters are part-time while working and in college, part-time working. The majority of the folks on my block have the identical situation. We may struggle in the hood, but my block is peaceful. To me, this AI data center is a violent gang swarming in and disrupting the peace. Please protect my little nephew and my granny and my neighbor's grannies. We are crammed in the West End, but we are crammed in peace and vibrancy. Let's keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Shiloh Butler Blight.
The address that I wrote is correct, and my name is Shiloh Butler Blythe.
Thank you.
So, I currently am an elementary school library clerk, and at the elementary school that I work at, all of our students are either Black or brown. In fact, Caucasian is our smallest And all of those students are low income, have severe trauma, and are the people that we need to be considering for the future that we're building. You're old, I'm 19, and frankly, it doesn't really matter if you have a place to live on in the next couple 10 years or so. So you need to be thinking about the people who are still have years and years ahead of them. I don't believe that this data center whatsoever would benefit them. And that is just the facts. We've seen how these data centers have completely just disrupted and dysregulated communities. And the fact that this data center is going to go into an area that has already been severely hurt from redlining is disgusting. It's been far too long for us to not learn from mistakes of the past. America was built by people of color, was built by Black people, and those are the people that you were going to hurt with this data center. Not even them alone, all of us in fact. And the fact that it's even a consideration to continue promoting these racist atrocities is unfortunately completely understandable, because it doesn't surprise me whatsoever. And that in itself is something that people who are complacent in these poor decisions should be ashamed of. We need to oppose these things because this is a small scale to an already large scale disaster that we're currently living in. There is nothing happening right now, especially in the United States, that is benefiting anyone on our level, especially the working poor. My mother, she's a single Black mother, a strong woman, and she is working back in social work despite having multiple disabilities, and she is busting her ass every day to do her job to provide for us. And building data centers that makes it harder for people to provide for themselves, their kids, and their loved ones does not benefit us whatsoever. And that's what you are supposed to be helping us do. You are supposed to be benefiting us. You are supposed to be empathetic and loving and supportive. And that's, you need to show that.
Roger Ullman.
Yes, my name is Roger Ullman, and my address, I certify that's my address.
Thank you.
I just have a couple of comments. One, I'm curious, it wasn't mentioned in the presentation, I'm curious about where the switching station was and the flood zone, which they call King Run Stream on one map. I'm curious as to how traffic gets back and forth between that. Because that is a 100-year flood area, so how is that being addressed? I don't think it was addressed in the presentation. But that's, the other thing I wanted to talk about, and first of all, I want to say I appreciate everything that you all are doing. It's got to be a tough job, but I've seen just a snippet of it today. But what I want to say is the first, I think it was 006, it was the 25 Cat 3 006. When it was passed under a false pretenses or assumption. No disrespect to you all, but you all passed it as a hotel data center. If the closest thing to this data center out there is Apple, would that be what we would be talking about right now? It doesn't, that you all passed it under the wrong assumption. So I asked you to reconsider the whole proposal that was made based on that. That is a zoning issue. And I feel like
it needs to be strongly considered. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, is Olivia Cole in the audience? Okay, thank you. We'll now move to our online. Joe, I'll let you kind of manage that.
Yeah, I'll call the online, but I do have a question. I got a speaker card from someone in support. We moved on. Do you want to entertain calling them when we conclude?
Okay. Hold on, let me ask you a question. Did you already have it and I moved past it, or did
it came in well after we were in opposition testimony. The first speaker is Olivia Hagan, and Sarah Carlisle, you will be next.
How many do we have online?
We had 8, but I believe 2 have left, so 6.
Olivia Cole, if you could, think you're being pulled over now.
And it's Olivia Hagan. I think this is a different Olivia.
Do you have Olivia Cole online? No? Okay.
Olivia, your microphone, and if you want to use video, it should work now.
Okay, my name is, video too, okay. Well, my name's Olivia Hagan, and I'm not Olivia Cole, but I'll get my address.
Only that you're going to give to this commission is true?
Yes.
All right, proceed. Thank you.
Okay, so I can feel that you respect the people talking about policy and their testimony more than the people giving heartfelt details, basically bearing their heart to the public right now about how they feel about this data center. And I can't speak to policy, and I respect that that's your all's expertise, but truly you guys cannot do this. Like that girl was saying earlier, we don't have much as the youth, and you're taking away our future, basically. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. You're taking away our future, our resources, and it's really not fair. And the fire safety, and I know that law and policy are completely about definition, and how you define policy and lay it out. And the way Cliff was trying to keep y'all in a box and police what you could say and ask was really crazy and honestly a little disrespectful, but that's a different point. But if there isn't adequate verbiage and definition to define something, you shouldn't be passing it into law or making law on it or zoning policy on it. And I don't think it's fair to the youth, I don't think it's fair to the public that he's allowed to just push it through, tell you guys what you're allowed to ask and what you're allowed to say on the behalf of whatever rich person has put money in his pockets, or even the council members who have left. Probably them too, they didn't want to have to hear this. So I just think you can't pass this on the basis that there is no basically historical like anything we can refer to. There's nothing we can refer this to currently, and you all haven't put it in process to make one. I don't really have anything else.
Okay, thank you.
Next is Sarah Carlisle. Sarah, your microphone should work, and after Sarah is Rainy Friend.
Sarah, if you could unmute and turn on your camera if possible.
Can you hear me?
We can. Can you state your full name, address, and zip code, and then I'll swear you in?
I'm Sarah Carlisle, 5218 Cypress Court, Shelbyville, Kentucky, 40065.
Do you swear affirm that the testimony that you're going to give to this commission is the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm a scientist, and we are in a water crisis. I don't support a data center being built when it will directly harm our citizens and our environment. Our goal should be sustainability and progressive motions, not tech projects people don't understand the repercussions of yet, especially since data centers are being built disproportionately in Black and brown neighborhoods. I don't like that Cliff said that he wanted to educate us because of the old data centers that were allowed. A proper study would compare data centers of similar size. This is not a proper study, so I do not find that educational. I don't think that it's fair to say that he has the right allowed to build this data center when the laws are not up to date with what is going on with this data center. That's not fair. AI data centers are taking jobs, hurting the environment. He said that they got built in Ohio, yes, but Indiana fought like heck to deny their data center, right? Because Memphis is still choking. Ask anyone in Memphis, Tennessee, if they like their data center. They can't breathe their air, they can't drink their water. I like bluegrass Kentucky. I like our bluegrass to stay blue. I would like our water to stay fresh. And I don't support a data center whatsoever. Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't say everything I wanted. As long as it's fine,
Your mic is still on. Next is Ray. Ray, friend, if you could unmute your mic and turn on your camera.
Yes, that's my, I'm on, yes.
All right, state your full name, address, and zip code for me, and then raise your right hand. I'll swear you in.
Okay, my name is
All right, you can continue.
Hello, so as you may have noticed, I actually don't come from Kentucky, but I do work across the bridge. Yes, I heard from an earlier testimony that majority is involved there.
I'm sorry, we can barely hear you. Can you raise your mic up to your,
Yes, is this any better? This is the mic I'm speaking out of, in front of me. Hold on.
No, yeah, we can't hear you at all now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry, my headset and my mic are different. I don't know how much time I lost,
You have 3 minutes. Yeah, so.
Okay, I'll start over. So as you heard, I'm actually a teacher of Indiana and not Louisville, but I do work across the bridge at UPS. And earlier speakers talked about how jobs are being lost over there. It is not personally affecting me yet. However, I've seen firsthand that automated sorters are being built in my workplace, and that they've been abandoned so far after being implemented. It's just a waste of money, it's resources, and if it does come down to like this, we are going to lose our jobs over time, which is unfortunate. Of course, we all know, we've already been scouting that data centers are going to cause poor air quality from the nitrogen dioxide and diesel gases in the backup generators being built. And poor drinking water from the cooling systems, using fresh drinking water, and then introducing PFAS or forever chemicals into the water. It's really going to pollute the water cycle, not just here, but globally. As well as noise pollution there, the residential buildings right outside of the data center. I know for myself, I'm a very sensitive sleeper. I can't imagine how the noise pollution there would hurt our working class. And of course as well, like public safety and public welfare are at risk. The rising cost of the data centers are going to come back on the regular people like us, and you know, AI is entirely like the landscape that like is we don't know the repercussions like people are saying. There's new technology that is being built constantly, and that us as regular people, we don't really have great access to knowing, but I've heard that in places like Minnesota that Purview AI and Palantir, they are using technologies for surveillance, that they are monitoring social media and for people who are speaking out against like that is working. And I've heard that things like TSA privileges can be revoked. And again, I work at UPS. So if that would happen to me, I would lose my job because I did not finish those 3 bar tests every day. I appreciate all the community members who are speaking up over all the different ways that AI is affecting us and willing to be our downfall. I'm not a public speaker, so I'm trying to get through as best I can. I'm really, really happy for all the people who have lots of good data that they could share. It's possible I'd like to call more moratorium against data centers and mobile. It's obvious that they're not welcome here. So many more people were speaking on this problem more than any of the others that have been going on since 1 p.m. It's now 5:10. It's pretty obvious that we
That's time.
did not accept this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jeff?
Next is Haley Osborne, then after Haley is Dorothy Griffith.
Haley, if you can turn on your mic and on your camera as well.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, if you can state your full name and address along with your zip code for me and raise your right hand, I'll swear you in.
Yes,
Money that you're going to give to this commission is the truth.
yes, I do.
Thank you.
Pardon me for being on my phone. I went to physical therapy. So what I really want to talk on is what the initial proposal, which he was discussing how Virginia has done this, other states have done this. Virginia, there has been extensive people trying to go against it, especially due to the noise. Now, the noise ordinance, there is a noise ordinance in Louisville, and the current estimated noise, there was a major study in one of Virginia where they were going to be putting a data center, or they did, comparing what the current noise decibel is, which was about in the 30s, and the estimated would be between 50 and 60, sometimes upwards of 70 decibels. And decibels is a logarithmic scale and not just like 50, oh, it's only like 10 higher than 60, or, you know, it's 60 decibels is twice as loud as 50 decibels. So when he's discussing the ordinance, it's well over 100 feet in between the building and the homes. There have been studies that say that there is a low frequency hum that can be audibly heard and sometimes not audibly heard that has negative impacts on people's health, increasing risk of type 2 diabetes, cognitive decline, issues with people trying to do math problems, which could also, they've seen the low frequency extend sometimes over a mile, and there are schools somewhat nearby this location, and they say potentially 3,000 feet is how far the low frequency noise could go. So I encourage the Metro Council to say no and really look at the results of these other counties and cities that have done these studies, and at least at minimum request that this entity that's building this data center to do noise studies. What are the current noise study levels? What do they expect the noise to be? Because it is, I'm sure you've had an irritating hum in your ears up 24/7 because these data centers will be running 24/7. In addition to all of the other issues that people have brought up, including fire safety. And I think that's one of the biggest issues that we haven't even really talked about besides the environmental impact.
Thank you.
Next is Dorothy Griffith. Dorothy, your microphone should work now. And the final speaker we have will be next is Kim Banker.
Hi, my name is Dorothy Griffith, and I live at 3630 Craig Avenue.
Affirm that the testimony that you're gonna give to this commission is the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can proceed, you have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. So I think it's very clear that we do not want this. Louisville does not want this. 80% of people in Louisville do not want this. The 20% of people who do, this is not happening in their backyard. I live in the West End. It's already bad enough over here. The discrepancies are ridiculous. This is insane. It's insane that we're even having this meeting. They are trying to push through on a technicality and hoping that nobody paid attention. We are paying attention. We're here. This is ridiculous. They wanted to utilize the fact that our code has not been updated for something that is brand new. And we shouldn't allow them to do that. This needs to be a very slow process. If this data center is ever approved, it should take decades for them to do studies in order to review the actual impacts of the community.
I think we lost you. Dorothy?
Just like you did not do.
Dorothy, can you repeat probably the last 15 seconds of testimony that you provided? We lost audio.
Oops, yeah, I mean, it basically says y'all need to deny this. They're trying to push this through on a technicality because our code is not updated, and they wanted to make sure that we weren't paying attention. We were paying attention. We're here. We do not want this. It is clear. If y'all vote in any way that is in favor for this, then we know that y'all are being in the pocket of billionaires. But I really, really, really hope that you aren't. Like, please, for the love of God, just deny this. Be done with this. Let's be done with it.
Thank you.
All right, and the final speaker I have signed up is Van Deaver.
Hi, I'm Emma Vanderveer. My address is yes.
All right, you can proceed.
I did not intend to speak today, but I can't help but to share as a lifelong Louisvillian and a half a decade-long employee of the state how concerned I am for the development of this project. There have been so many testimonies today. I urge you to listen to what the community wants. I won't be saying anything you don't already know, whether you accept it or not. The existence of this data center will raise energy bills, cause extreme water shortages, and long-term pollution. The costs of this outweigh the benefit. As others have stated, we do not have the infrastructure to sustain a data center on this scale. If you ask anyone in the city, getting a job right now is incredibly difficult. I know people who have applied to hundreds of positions only to get a couple of interviews with no outcome. AI is taking our jobs and would put further strain on our local economy. If property tax gains are an incentive, then please consider the hundreds, if not thousands of families who will suffer from the impacts of this center devaluing their properties, along with the higher energy and water bills that will impact nearby neighborhoods and the whole city at large. I'm a certified Kentucky assessor, and I work with people every day who struggle to stay in their homes and afford the bills they are already paying, who have been in their homes for decades. And I urge you, I must push you to consider how little we know the long-term effect this will have on our community. Your no is not rejecting development or progress. It would be rejecting, destroying our city for future generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that everybody, Jim?
That's everybody that's not in opposition.
Okay, thank you. All right, with that, commissioners, I am now going to ask you if you have any questions of those that spoke in opposition. None? Okay. Cliff, you have 5 minutes for rebuttal. And as Cliff comes, I believe in making sure we're educating people. Just a couple things I just want the public to understand. First of all, this is not our jobs. We are appointed citizens of Louisville. We all have jobs and other things. When you see people leave, that is because our meeting is going long and they have other obligations that they have to meet. Okay? I want to make that very clear. All right? And then secondly, I want you guys to know that if you have any questions about anything, any procedures, your address or anything, please ask your representative. You can ask the planning commission, the planners. Please ask, okay? But please understand that we are citizens just as you are. Okay, with that, 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll try to keep within 5 minutes. So I want to first touch on the interpretation issue, because I think that came up in several people's comments. In our land development code, it does say interpretation of undefined terms. Terms not otherwise defined herein shall be interpreted first by reference to the adopted comprehensive plan, if specifically defined therein. Telecommunications hotel is not defined in the comp plan. Secondly, by reference to generally accepted engineering, planning, or other and otherwise according to common usage. Just did a little bit of research. The American Planning Association has put out a definition of telecommunications hotels. There are other definitions that include a building that is constructed or rebuilt for data centers, also known as a carrier hotel, co-location center, or internet data center. Telecom hotels typically house hundreds or thousands of web servers or web hosting organizations, large enterprises, and other service organizations. There is no reference to the size. It is a matter of quantity, not a qualitative difference between the definition that the planning staff has interpreted this use meets. So, that's number one. Number two, I wanted to say I was taking down names so I could refer to people's comments. And I was taking down zip codes because I was interested where people were coming from who were opposed to the proposal. So I don't have complete addresses for anybody. Please don't be concerned about that. With regard to fire risk, I recall the last time we were together, there's an adjacent warehouse owner who says, I have a lot of hazardous material. That is not something that's in the code. There is nothing in the land development code that says if you store X kind of material on your property, other properties around you have to accommodate you. It's important that you all understand that. With regard to energy prices, this is really not the venue for that, but just as a way of information. LG&E recently asked the Public Service Commission, and the Public Service Commission agreed to a modification of their tariff that would mandate that infrastructure that goes to high-load customers, including data centers, is paid for by the user, and indicates that a percentage of the anticipated capacity has to be paid for whether it's taken or not. So I understand the concerns that many people in the community have. They are being dealt with in another venue. They are being anticipated by the utility and the public sector. One other thing that I think is really important, there were several statements talking about the motivation for this location. The motivation for this location is very simple, and unfortunately is not very exciting. The property is zoned for the heaviest industrial uses that we allow in our community. It also there is a power line, a trunk line, if you will, the highest level of energy running directly through the site. Those are the reasons why this is an appropriate location for this use. It has nothing to do with the surrounding community. It has to do with the presence of infrastructure and appropriate zoning. I don't take the comments about the motivation of my client or anybody else very well, and I would ask that those be withdrawn. With regard to diesel generators, that was another question that came up. Diesel generators are there as a power redundancy, not as a power source. They are typically run, again, this is not something in the code, but I think it's important to address. They are typically run only for testing and if there is a sustained power outage. understand a power outage at my house or your house that may be caused by a tree that's fallen on a power line is not the same kind of power outage that we're talking about here. This site will be tapping into a transmission line, a high voltage transmission line. If that line goes down, that means that something much more dramatic has happened. So we don't anticipate that these diesel generators are going to run other than testing at all. In addition, if they are running over a certain period of time, each diesel generator has a certain amount of emissions that will come out of it. If it reaches a permit threshold, then permits will be obtained for those. They are not granted by the Planning Commission. May I have another minute, Mr. Chairman?
No, okay, thank you, Cliff. With that, commissioners, you do have questions for Cliff. You can ask them at this time. Any questions, commissioners? No? Everybody shaking their head? Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Mr. Ashburner, we've heard
Yes, ma'am.
a few comments and concerns related to pollution, water impacts, things like that. Is there anything that you can offer to address? I know we've heard a lot, and we don't have a lot of time.
Right. Again, the local water company has indicated it has capacity to serve, so the water that is used for cooling will be coming from the local water company. That water will then go into MSD's system. It will be potable water in, potable water out.
Any other? I'm gonna ask everybody, please, no talking so we can hear.
I was gonna follow up with that with the MSD, MS4 program, and assume you all had discussions, have you?
Yes, my understanding is that the MS4 program primarily deals with stormwater and water quality dealing with
Water
stormwater.
runoff.
Yes, right. I was talking about processed water. And I think some of the comments today confused stormwater and processed water, but maybe they were about both.
So I don't know if y'all have a significant, above and beyond the normal warehouse type development, would you have any additional pollution that you're adding to stormwater?
No, not to the stormwater. No, stormwater, I mean, the stormwater is going to be rainwater primarily that hits the buildings, hits the pavement. It is going to go into a series of detention basins. In those detention basins, it'll be slowed, and it is slowed to a point where the first 0.6 or 1 inch worth of rainfall is held back, and any contaminants that are in it settle out, and then the water leaves the site at a rate that is equal to or slower than the current rate of runoff.
This might be more for Tyler, but did we get any comments from air pollution control? Or,
No, I didn't receive any comments from there.
but they were sent the information.
But
I mean, they always are sent the information for all of us.
Air pollution control district, they get notice of development. I don't, they don't usually comment on most development.
Any other questions, commissioners? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cliff. So I'll close the public portion of the hearing, and once again, commissioners, our required action is to approve or deny the category 3 development plan. Of that, I'll take any comments that anyone may have. Yes, sir. So you just unmuted your mic. Go for it.
After exhaustive testimony, the Development Review Committee approved this request in June 2025, and the Planning Commission staff has stated in writing that this request meets the requirements of the Land Development Code. This request is reasonable. This project will not harm the health, safety, and welfare of the general public.
I will put everybody out. Please stop so you can listen to the conversation.
This project will create jobs, and it will generates substantial revenue for the city of Louisville, the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and the Jefferson County School District. Consequently, I think this request should be approved.
I see that we are kind of hamstrung by the rules that we have. And it's also, there is a plan that was approved, so last summer. This is a little lesser of an evil, maybe, if you look at it that way. But that one plan is going to go forward. We're not stopping at Davidson, we're just approving it. But it's hopefully a slightly better plan,
Guys, I agree with that. You know, we've talked, and I appreciate the courage and the skill and preparation and depth of your all's speeches. I think you did a real good job. You raised a lot of good questions. But whether or not we're not voting on whether AI is going to continue. We're not voting on some of the bigger issues that you came out. As a matter of fact, they're above what we're doing. Today, we are looking at a better plan than what has already been approved.
No, you're not. That doesn't mean good. They doubled the space.
It doesn't, but
Hold on real quick. Sorry, hold on real quick. One more time, I'm clearing this place. You want to hear what he's saying. He was quiet when you spoke. Give him respect.
I just think that this is a better plan, and that's, I think, what is within our ability to do at this point. You know, we're voting on whether or not this plan is better than the one that's already been approved. And I'm afraid, it's my opinion that this is the better
plan. First of all, thank you, community, for showing up. It makes you feel good that, you know, there's still some interest in our community that a group like this would show up. And like you, I have the same concerns about, you know, AI and the same frustrations and questions and so forth about data centers. But as a planning commissioner, we operate on a very narrow lane. Anybody who was here for the prior case, you know that a lot of the questions really, you know, surrounded a lot of things that really doesn't deal with the land development of the comprehensive plan. And that's the lane that we have to operate under. And a lot of times I hate that, but because my personal feelings would tell me to go a different direction. In this particular case, this is a simple administrative approval of a revised plan. And I know it's much, it involves much broader issues, but from our perspective as a planning commission in the policy document that we have to follow, we have to stay within that lane of the comp plan. As such, this is again a simple administrative approval of a revised plan.
We all added binding requirements to other things. Protest for your vote.
Anyone else?
Delay it.
Okay.
Delay it.
I'm gonna say that our job as planning commissioners, once again, we are not employees. Is to direct the economic growth and physical development of Jefferson County and the community therein, and to guide such development in such manner as to ensure the prosperity, health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the county and its communities. This can be found on the website of boards and commissions. I understand that our job is one of administrative, but I think that these data centers are such an animal within themselves that as a commissioner, as we plan things and as we put things in certain places, the West End has been a victim of still unknown consequences based on development that was put there. With that being said, our job is administrative. However, as part of that administrative responsibility, it is to stop it wherever we see the errors of our ways. With that being said, yes, it may be zoned appropriately. Yes, it may meet a simple definitions, but we do not have all the facts around data centers yet. That's why the metro government has asked us to look at it. It would be my opinion that we hold this until we can have proper regulations and proper dialogue, and Metro Council can then pass something that we can sink our teeth in and approve something properly. With that, is there a vote? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion in case of 25-3-0015 to approve the Category 3 development plan based upon the staff's report and analysis and applicant and staff testimony heard today.
I'll second.
Properly made motion and second. Roll call, please.
Fisher,
Yes.
Lohan,
Yes.
Stuber,
Yes.
Leonard,
Yes.
On,
Yes.
Mims,
Yes.
Sistrum.
No.
Thank you.
With that, this has, category 3 has been approved.
Shame.
Looking for a motion to.
You sold your kids out. You sold your kids out. You sold your grandkids out. I hope you're happy. It's disgusting.
I'm not gonna left anyway, don't worry.
Balding. Fucking Jarvis. Fuck you.
I'm gonna do what my granddaddy taught me to do. And stand up for family. And fight back. But you've been in the perspective for too long.
They don't expect that. We're not gonna have our kids marching. This is it.
Once and for all.
Justice for Patrick! Justice for Patrick! Justice for Patrick! As a black man, I stand up for black women.
I don't want to say another motherfucking name.
Kanye Jordan!
400 years later, not a damn thing changed.
I stand up for black women because it's what I'm supposed to do. It's all one fight. The same people that suppress the vote, they'll suppress your living rate. It's standing up for freedom, a freedom that knows action, a love that is in action.
Enough is enough.
I'm not sleeping and I'm not done until we get justice. Ain't no curling, people don't stop. What's got to go, hey. Mexico, what's got to go?
Why is everybody, why is the police fighting against us, but they're supposed to be helping us, but that's what they should.
If black women don't do it, then it don't get done. That's what I'm hearing. When I say gun, you say no.
Don't forget what we did today. Today is history. Don't just go home and say, hey, let me post it. Live it. We just have to be stubborn enough. We just have to be strong enough. We just have to be relentless. Black lives. Black lives. Thank you all. I pass the mic to the next person. Black women matter.
If you do nothing else.
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 If you do nothing else.